again.
Welcome back to the Reverbium podcast. My name is Jimmy.
And I'm Sean.
Okay, that was good enough. This week we got the news of the England squad, the full 26-man England squad.
The actual England squad.
Yeah, except
not the half announcement.
Except now it's a 25-man squad until Sunday, which we will be talking about in our main event.
And possibly arguing about who we'd put to start against Croatia.
And
although knowing us, we'll probably fucking agree on it because we do everything else and we try and make stuff juicy and have discussion topics. But our discussion is, yeah, I agree with you.
We might bring in a third man. We might have a special guest.
Will we argue?
We might have a special guest for E3, depending on scheduling conflicts. But we'll see. We'll see. Sean doesn't know about this.
That's news to me. What the fuck?
Maybe. It might not.
News.
It might not. But yeah, we'll get started. I'll get the wrestling out of the way first. We'll start on a good note and then end on a sour one. So AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view happened on May 30th, the Sunday, and it was a very good show overall. I will run down the card and give my short opinion on each match. We had Serena Deeb defeating Riho by submission in a singles match for the NWA World Women's Championship. Deeb was the champion and retained in that match. Short match, it was a pre-show match, nothing to it really. It was just an entertaining match to kick off the pay-per-view. Then we had the actual kickoff of the pay-per-view with Adam Page defeating Brian Cage. Also another good match, quite enjoyed it. Didn't run too long, was just a good opener for the show. And we had the Young Bucks taking on Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley for the tag team titles. The Young Bucks retained. It was an okay. It wasn't their best tag team match with the titles, but it was a decent match. I thought Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley were going to win here, but no, we still had the Young Bucks. Then we had the Casino Battle Royale, which featured the likes of Christian Cage, former WWE's Christian. It had a lot of big names in AEW, like Powerhouse Hobbs, Matt Hardy. But Jungle Boy ended up getting the win, which was a good choice, and he gets a title shot against the winner of the World Championship match later on, but he'll get it in 2 weeks' time. The match also featured Leo Rush as the Joker, as the person who was came in last, which was a big surprise. Next up, Come On England, Anthony Ogogo versus Cody Rhodes. Sean, if I pitch this to you, right, the English heel, the English bad guy, it's his first match on pay-per-view. He looked really dominant. He's going against Cody Rhodes, the big American, really patriotic babyface, who's about to have a kid and is probably going to take time away. How do you think the match should go?
Well, in my head, obviously, the person not going to have time out should win. But because this is wrestling and they never make any sense, they've clearly not done that.
Yes. Well, the match went 10 minutes and Cody Rhodes beat Anthony Ogogo. So the Nightmare Factory is completely pointless because Cody Rhodes has beaten everyone in that feud, has not lost to a single person. And everyone wanted Anthony Ogogo to win, even though he was the heel. I say everyone. A lot of Americans wanted him to win as well, but I hate the foreign heel trope, so it was annoying. But if I was to rebook this match, I don't know if you've seen Rocky IV. I actually saw this idea, but Apollo Creed sort of comes out in this big patriotic, American entrance, and then gets murdered in the ring. That's basically what should have happened. Cody should have done his elaborate entrance, surrounded by everyone, and then got in the ring, bell rings, Anthony Ogogo knocks him straight out. That's what should have happened. And they didn't do that, and I feel like there was a big waste. So that was my biggest disappointment. The match was fine. The match was pretty good. Ogogo looks great, but he should have got the win there. Next up, we have the AEW TNT champion, Miro, going up against Lance Archer. A short match, probably the weakest on the card. Maybe not the weakest. It was a good match, but it just... everything else was great in comparison. Miro defeated Lance Archer to retain. The next match was Hikaru Shida defending her World Women's Championship against Britt Baker. Everyone wanted Britt Baker to win, even though she was the heel, and she did win. It's been a long time in the making, so we have a new champion there. Next up, we have Darby Allin and Sting versus Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. One of my favourite matches of the night. It was Sting's first actual in-ring live match since, I think, maybe Seth Rollins injured him and retired him. So yeah, good match. I wouldn't have minded if the heels won that, but the faces did win, so it wasn't that bad. Then we get to my favourite match of the night, which was the three-way match between Kenny Omega, the AEW World Champion, Pac, Newcastle's own, and Orange Cassidy. Great match overall. It was the longest live... well, the last match was a live match as well, but it was the longest in-ring match of the show, going at about 27 minutes. Orange Cassidy was very over in this match. He nearly won a few times. He went for the pin at the end, and Kenny Omega reversed it and pinned him, and it was like a big deflating defeat. But Kenny Omega retained. No one really expected him to drop it, but it was a very good match. And I'd like to see more from that in the future. And the final match of the card, which was the Stadium Stampede match, putting the Inner Circle against the Pinnacle. I won't read through all the names. If you watch the show, you know who they are. Again, a really fun match. It was very cinematic at times. A lot of it took place out on the field, the Jags field, backstage as well. And it ended in the ring with Sammy Guevara pinning Shawn Spears, I believe, and the Inner Circle winning. The stipulation of the match was that if the Inner Circle lost, they would have to split up forever, but they didn't. They won. So yeah, that is the card. Overall, good pay-per-view. And we can move on from that. We've got a little bit more wrestling news just to get out of the way with. WWE were reportedly in talks with New Japan Pro Wrestling about an exclusive working relationship. A lot of people are theorizing this is because of Daniel Bryan's want to work for other companies in his last run. So working out a deal with them allows him to go off a little bit while still working for WWE, but that's not confirmed. And I won't speculate on that any further. Jimmy Smith also made his debut on Raw. We talked about it last week, but he replaced Adnan Virk as a Raw commentator. And he gave a really solid performance. He's a man with experience in combat sport commentating and combat sports as a whole, so he has a lot of knowledge to do with MMA style, which isn't what wrestling really is, but it helps. And yeah, he was really good. And we get to the downer that I mentioned. WWE has released a bunch of stars, and when I say stars, I mean pretty big stars. Braun Strowman has gone. He was in the WWE title picture 3 weeks ago, where he was in a pay-per-view match for the title. Oh god, you've frozen. Oh no, you're back. We're good.
I'm back. Yeah,
we're back. Yeah,
just briefly
frozen. Aleister Black, the biggest shock for me. He just came back with a brand new character. Just cost Big E the chance to win the IC title, and 2 weeks later he's gone. That was stupid. I'm really glad they wasted that time, and I wonder how they're going to get out of this situation. Lana has left the company. Again, no, I wouldn't say a big shock, but I didn't expect her to go. Murphy deserves a lot more. They all deserve a lot more. Ruby Riot's gone. She got a lot of support on social media as well. Well, they all did, but Ruby Riot was one of them because a lot of people just loved working with her. And Santana Garrett, who a lot of people might not know, but she was in NXT. That's all of the releases, but there was rumours, and I'm not going to say who, but there were rumours there were going to be more releases coming, and they were going to be big names.
John Cena. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, there's a rumor that John Cena will actually main event SummerSlam this year, but it
so
makes
he can finally ascend the throne as the most world titles.
No, so he can lose to Roman Reigns.
Oh, okay.
which makes sense. I'd actually really like to see that happen. Roman's been one of the best things in the company. But yeah, that's all the wrestling news, thankfully. So we'll do gaming. Let's do some gaming.
I'm not quite sure where you started with wrestling when we were going to leave sport to the end.
Because we like to get wrestling out of the way with first, and then move on to everything else. It's like its own category at this point.
If you say so. Okay. Sorry, what did you say we're going to do next?
Gaming.
Okay. I'll talk for a little bit.
Go. You do the state of play. I know you've got that.
Yeah, I know. I've got the state of play. You dickhead. That's you.
Oh no, you've got the deals and stuff.
That's days of play. Get it right.
All right.
Get the name.
I'll do
right.
the state of play stuff. Horizon. Yeah. The biggest talking point from that was Horizon Forbidden West
doesn't even remember the name of the fucking news.
Had a I think it was 90-minute long gameplay. Like not trailer, but gameplay reveal.
Footage is the word you're looking for.
It was a gameplay reveal. That's what it was. But it featured a lot of new gameplay features, like swimming underwater. There was a grappling hook style thing that allows you to traverse up areas. Overall, what Horizon Zero Dawn needed was like improved gameplay features, and I feel like this is on the right track for that. So yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes. Now let's do days of play since it's related to the state.
Yeah, days of play. Basically, why am I saying base? Anyway, PlayStation have a sale at the moment, which is the days of play sale. And I'm just going to run through some of the deals because they're promising up to 75% as per usual. Hardly anything is at that amount. So some noteworthy ones: Assassin's Creed Valhalla, 40% off, down from £60 to £36.
Okay.
Amazing savings of 13% on Demon Souls, down from a big £70 down to a big saving.
I'd also like to add on that the special edition of Demon Souls also has a similar price drop from like £90 to £81 or something.
Correct, $89.99 to $80.99, 10%.
Something like that.
Spider-Man Miles Morales, as you informed me, is its first price drop, 17%.
Thank God.
$49.99 to $41.49. Big savings.
I'll genuinely take it at this point.
My camera's in the way of half the deals, which isn't really helpful. The amazing Avengers game down from £45 to $26.99.
Don't even say it.
Even 40% is not a good enough deal on that.
It was free at some point, I swear.
On
something. Yeah.
A few months ago, it was free because it's that shit. If you have PS Plus, you can get 50% off Maneater, the shark game,
which was free on PlayStation Plus like a couple months ago. Yeah,
that's down to $17.49 from $34.99. The greatest game of all time, Bugsnax, 25% off, down from $17.99 to $13.49. There was one more I wanted to do before the last one, but I've lost where it is, I think. Well, that may have been it. Because basically, loads of deals are just different versions of like all your deluxe editions and shit.
There's like 100 deals on there. Go
on. Need for Speed Heat, down 75%. Actually, a 75% one from £60 down to $14.99. If you like your sim racing games, Assetto Corsa Competizione, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Don't speak Italian. Again, you need PS Plus for the deal, but it's from $34.99 to $17.49. Are you one of the best simulator games there are for racing? So that's a good deal. I'm actually happy about that. If you still haven't played Skyrim, 60% off, £40 down to $15.99. Don't know
that
why
must
you
be
wouldn't
the
have played
Ultimate
it yet.
Edition.
No, that is the regular. Oh, sorry, special edition. Special edition.
Yeah, there's no way it didn't have some form of DLC.
Titanfall 2 down from £18 to £13.59. That game is old, isn't it?
What
That's
was
about
it?
fucking years. Down from £17.99 to
No, what game was it?
£3.59. Titanfall 2.
Titanfall 2 was free not that long ago as well. It's a good game. It's one of the better shooters of the last few years, and it just had a resurgence in player base because of, I think it was free on Steam or something. And I assume that's why this deal's coming in now. So yeah, if you haven't picked it up and you're interested, that's something to go for.
If you play The Sims, plenty of expansion packs on sale. The Batman Arkham Collection from £50 down to £16.49. See, why are they hiding all the good deals at the bottom? Sniper Elite 4, £47.99 to £4.79, 90% off for Sniper Elite 4, which is actually not.
Well, you can on the menu you can sort of filter what you're looking for,
what deals you want. The last one I was going to mention, because it leads on to my next bit of news, which is one of the actual 75% off ones. Formula One 2020, yeah. Down from $54.99 to $13.74. However, don't buy it because the new game comes out in about 50 days. 50 days, I think. 19th of July, I think. Works about around, roughly around then. So wait for that because we've seen gameplay. We've had our first look at gameplay. Formula One 2021. The embargo has been lifted. Content creators have been putting out videos. Which for me, I think is quite a good sign that they're obviously happy with the game and like on schedule with it, that there's not going to be much to do after release. But yeah, basically there was content creators had been playing the game. Their embargo has been lifted. They're allowed to make, I believe, 3 15-minute videos on the game. So everyone got their first slot out yesterday. So we'll see a few more over the next few days, next few weeks. And basically got to see some features that they hadn't actually announced when they announced the game. So they've added to the damage model. So previously, basically it was the front wing that could get damaged, and your front wheels would come off. That was kind of it. You'd occasionally have a failure with your rear wing, but it wouldn't actually get damaged. Yeah. Now they've included rear wing damage. They've included damage to the floor.
Oh no.
Okay, so they're little things that have been. They're not huge parts of the game, but it's things that people are wanting to make a bit more realistic. People who played the game have also mentioned that they, and to Codemasters themselves, so Codemasters said they've changed how the tires work in the game, so they are more like a sim racer as opposed to how they have been before. So you can really feel a difference between the tires. So, for example, the harder set of tires, they need a few laps to warm up, whereas previously you could feel you were slower, but there were like grip levels and needing time to warm up. There wasn't really that in the game. Most of them are just obviously little settings you can play about with, so you can increase the likelihood that your opponents will have engine failure during your races. So if you're someone who does like your career mode in your My Team, you can bump that up to make it a bit more interesting in those races. Or if you're someone who wants to make sure that everyone finishes every race, basically, you can switch that. You can change the weather so it's more realistic. So basically, there's no. I think that's what it is. I think it's what around. So it'll be like there is absolutely no chance that some places will get rain because it doesn't happen. Whereas you can leave it as a bit more uncertainty. I'm trying to think of something what else there is that we've been able to see. There isn't a huge amount of difference to graphics at the moment. Obviously, they could improve that upon release, but it is still a work in progress. And then other things are mainly just small adjust. Oh, sorry, there is another big one. They've changed they've not changed, but kind of modified how the upgrade to the cars in like your career mode and your My Team work. So they still kind of have the tree system. It's just set out differently. And then everything else like adjustments to like your menus and your other settings. They're minor ones, but will make quite a big difference for some people. So it's nothing groundbreaking. Also, the big changes we obviously got in the announcement for the game, but it is nice to see that Codemasters appear to be listening to what people are saying of little adjustments they can make to the game that just make it feel more realistic.
Yeah.
And what I've been wanting for quite a few years. So as I said, just about a month and a half that comes out, which I'm very excited for.
Nice. Sorry to have interrupted you halfway through.
It's fine. It's fine.
I don't know what that freeze is going to look like, but we're gonna move with it.
Well.
I'll go through a few more things. Dying Light 2: Stay Human, a much anticipated sequel, has finally got a release date of December 7th. So anyone on the lookout for that, they will be receiving it at the end of this year. The Crisis series is being remastered. It will be available in a bundle and separately, but all 3 games will be remastered. So anyone who hasn't played the Crisis games, Crisis 2 is a really good game. Crisis 3 is okay, and I have only played part of Crisis 1. So yeah, it's worth playing. What else have I got? Oh yes, the Battlefield 6 reveal is coming on June 9th, which is next Wednesday, which will be a day before we record the podcast, so we'll be able to actually talk about it next week. Woo! And that is all I've got. Oh no, God of War, the sequel, Ragnarok or whatever they're going to call it, has been delayed until 2022. Sony Santa Monica put out a statement on Twitter that basically said that they're just focusing on making the game great, so got to delay the game. Nothing really to it. They got support, and they also probably got people saying, "Oh, I just want it this year," like they did for Cyberpunk, and look how that turned out. But anyway, that's all my gaming news. I don't know if you have more.
No, that's it from me.
Okay, we'll move on to TV and movie. Should I just run through everything I've got and then you run through everything you've got?
0 is what I have, I believe.
Okay.
Or not anything that you won't cover anyway.
Okay, that's fine. I've got a couple HBO things here. The Last of Us HBO series, based off the video game series of the same name, has cast an actress for Marlene, and it will be the voice actress for the character in the games who will be reprising her role. I think her name is Merle Dandridge, or Marla Dandridge. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yes, that's who. The Green Lantern HBO Max series apparently has a director for the first 2 episodes, who is Lee Toland Krieger, who is known for directing episodes of Riverdale and the recent Superman and Lois series, which has had some very good reviews. I have yet to see it, but it has been highly regarded, especially among the CW shows. Denai Garay, for who you might know for Walking Dead, she plays Michonne, and for this character in Black Panther, Okoye. I think her name is Okoye. Is that how you pronounce it? Or Okoye? I don't know.
Don't ask me. I've butchered so many people's names in this podcast.
You know what? It's fine. You know what we're talking about. We're not trying to be. But she'll be reprising her role in...
do it.
in Black Panther Forever, is it called? Black Panther Wakanda Forever? Is that?
Yes, Wakanda Forever.
Yes. And she'll be also involved in a Origin spin-off series. I don't know if it's just based around her or if it's based around like their I completely forgot what their group is called, but yes. Todd Phillips will be reportedly returning to write and direct a Joker sequel. Don't know how I feel about this. I'd rather they do an origin on another villain rather than doing Joker 2. But we'll see how that turns out. We have Rotten Tomatoes news. We previously had the Citizen Kane news, which a negative review dethroned it from the top and put Paddington 2 there. But a negative review has come out from 2017 about Paddington 2, which has knocked it off the top spot, and Toy Story 2 is now the highest rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes. You know, not undeserved. What can I say? And the final thing I've got is For Love and Thunder has wrapped filming. Uh, Not much else to add there. I have a little bit of music news as well, which I'll add on to this. Kasabian, big UK band, I have announced a UK tour. That's about it. It'll be
interesting to see who takes the lead vocals on that tour, though.
I mean,
because
that's something to think about, actually.
Yeah,
it could be Big Surge, but like I don't know. But anyway, sport. That's the thing we're all here for. I'll let you talk for a bit, and then we'll go from there.
The transfer window has opened officially. We'll start with some transfer news. One personal for me, Ibrahim Konate has joined Liverpool, £35 million. We have bought a defender. It's a miracle. We should have done this last summer. Oh, why has it taken so long?
Relatable.
Anyway, he has joined. It does look like because of this that, well, I believe a few weeks ago, they'd already turned and said that Kabak will not be staying at Liverpool. We had the option to sign him for about 15 mil, I think it was. But it looks like he will go back to Schalke. He might not stay there because obviously he showed he has quality and he definitely doesn't deserve to be in Bundesliga 2. So he may end up going somewhere else. Obviously, the biggest signings really have come from La Liga, where David Alaba has gone to Real Madrid for free from Bayern Munich as his contract ran out. And then their rivals Barcelona have been busy with signing Sergio Aguero on a free, who has left Man City with his contract running out at the end of this season, and also Eric Garcia from Man City. The interesting thing with Garcia's transfer is they have slapped a massive €400 million buyout clause on him, which is a ridiculous amount to put on somebody who has played 19 first-team games. And so I couldn't tell you exactly. I don't think he played any of this season. I don't know if it will tell me. Probably not. But yeah, for someone who hasn't really played much first-team football, they obviously think highly of him. Otherwise, they obviously wouldn't have signed him. They did have him as part of his youth career. Before he went to Man City to finish off his youth career. But yeah, for someone who's only played 19 games and hasn't been able to break his way into the first team, you do wonder why they've put such a high price on.
Yeah.
It's absolutely strange. Yeah. But that's what Barca want to do. I mean, they're stripped for cash, so maybe that's their plan, is that they hope that someone else wants to buy them and then we'll give them money, because if you look, all their signings this summer are going to be free, or they're going to spend very little money. Aguero obviously free already, Garcia for free. It looks like Gini Wijnaldum might be going to there for free. Not confirmed yet, but it is somewhere he had his eyes on when he wasn't signing a new contract at Liverpool. Bayern Munich also repeatedly wanted him, but it does look like Barca will be the place that he goes. So,
well, while we're on the topic of Barcelona and Aguero, we should mention the Champions League final, since we never got to talk about it last week.
Oh yeah,
I forgot about that. Champions League final was Manchester City.
Well, we didn't talk about it last week because it didn't happen.
Yeah, I know, that's what I mean. We didn't get to. Manchester City versus Chelsea. It was Aguero's last chance to win it with Manchester City. It was Manchester City's first Champions League final. And they blew it. Chelsea won 1-0. Kai Havertz scored. He's was he the youngest player to score? What was the stat with him? Oh,
I don't know. The only one that I know is it's his first goal in the last 12 games.
Yeah, it was like that. Yeah. It wasn't a great game. It was a good game. The first half was good, but it wasn't like the best game ever.
But I think that's happened quite a lot over the past few years with Champions League finals, is that or definitely the past couple of years, I think they haven't been like interested, or people say they're not interested because they haven't really been goal fest sort of thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think last year was a good game because it was very tight of who was going to get the goal, and it was left quite late. Obviously, the season before was kind of the game was ruined in effect early on with the penalty for Liverpool. And to be fair, the year before was a good one because of plenty of goals for Liverpool Madrid. But yeah, I think we see it a lot in these bigger games over the past few years. Is that they're not actually good games. Teams seem to be a lot more scared to lose, that they don't really go for a win anymore.
Yeah.
That they look to protect themselves first and then try and steal a goal, as opposed to let's go for it, let's go and win it. So
yeah, well, we'll get to some managerial news as well while we're here, unless you've got anything else to add to this little segment.
not for transfer or anything like that. No.
All right,
We can
well,
move on.
Pirlo has departed as head coach of Juventus, with Allegri being reappointed in the role. We have Carlo Ancelotti leaving Everton after 18 months to become the head coach of Real Madrid once again. And that is all I have. How about you, pal?
Well, still slightly football related. Gary Lineker had announced this week that he'll be leaving BT Sport. The Champions League final was his last game as a pundit or host for BT Sport. As he said, he wants to actually go to games and enjoy Leicester in the Champions League with his son. So BT Sport will be finding a new host for European games next year.
Nice. Well,
and we'll come back to football later for the England squad.
Yeah, I mean, I've got nothing else, so.
Well, just not anything sport at all.
No.
Okay, I'll keep going. It was announced this week that Jake Paul will be fighting former UFC champion Tyron Woodley in a string of fights of Jake Paul dodging boxers as per usual. Still claiming he's the best boxer there is in the world, but refuses to fight an actual boxer. A couple of weeks ago, there was a whole thing with Tommy Fury, as he sent a nice video to Jake Paul with the whole family, and even got Shaquille O'Neal involved. It was a really weird video. But yeah, Jake Paul decides to keep dodging boxers and going for retired UFC fighters who clearly aren't boxers. His brother, obviously fighting Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, they
soon.
brought the rules, didn't they? For that?
Yeah, they brought the rules, which is just shit. To be honest,
it's basically to try and protect Mayweather's record if he does somehow lose.
It's obviously it's an exhibition match, but it's one of those meh ones. So knockouts will be allowed. It'll be obviously up to the ref. However, there'll be no official winner. There'll be no judges. So yeah, you know what? You can clearly see that Mayweather has tried to do this to protect his record. So that no matter what happens, he still claims to be undefeated.
It would still be embarrassing if he went down. He'd never live it.
Oh yeah,
down.
But the fight will be no headgear, 12-ounce gloves, 8 3-minute rounds. And Mayweather did actually come out earlier this week and turn and say that it doesn't matter if he has like a proper fighting camp or anything, that he will win no matter what. He doesn't need to try. If that's the case and he doesn't do that, he could be in for a surprise if he doesn't take this seriously. That he could actually, he might find it harder than he thinks.
A lot of people forget that while Logan Paul isn't a boxer, he was a very good national level wrestler. Like MMA,
and he's a big guy.
These are linked. All right, you can look at Ben Askren and see what happened against Jake Paul and be like, that means nothing. But like it depends on the you never know what will happen on the day.
And to be fair, Logan is someone who will go after. Like, he's not messing around. Like, he's not taking this lightly. He would have been training for a long time for this, getting prepared for this. So it's not like he's going as a rookie. He's obviously had 2 fights, admittedly not against an amazing opponent, but it's not like he's going to half-ass this. He'll be going for it. He'll be prepared.
Imagine the bragging rights if he knocks out.
Oh yeah,
one of the greatest, if not the greatest boxer. Like,
yeah, admittedly, obviously he's not in his prime, but something that professional boxers couldn't do. So I kind of hope it just is a bit shit talking from Mayweather, and that he's actually taken this a bit more seriously than it sounds like he is. But we'll have to wait and see for the night. I can't remember. It's very soon, isn't it? Yeah, 6th of June. It's this weekend.
Oh
It's
wow.
actually this week. It's this Sunday.
We got something to talk about then. I need to write that on my
Yeah.
list so I remember. Um,
Yeah, in Miami this Sunday, live on Sky Sports box office. Oh,
wow.
streaming platforms. What? Anyway, moving on. Before I get hunted down, the big news come up this week as tennis star Naomi Osaka has been fined a ridiculous amount. Actually, I'm going to find how much it was because it was ridiculous.
15,000.
15 grand.
Mm-hmm.
For refusing to turn up to interviews, which she stated for her mental health. And she's also been banned from the French, or like kicked out of the French Open because of it as well.
Left. I thought she just mutually just said, "I'm backing out." Then
withdrawal.
I thought she withdrew herself, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let her off then. I'll let them off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it shows that they're not really taking mental health seriously. The fact that someone's come out and said like, it's affecting them. And
They could have handled it in a way different and way better way, but they didn't.
I understand from a legal point of view that she's contractually obliged to go to the interviews, but at the same point, you've got to take a bit of common sense as well and go, clearly something's wrong here. I need to do something about it. It doesn't appear like they are. It from what I've seen anyway, it looks like they've gone, okay, you're not doing it. We're giving you a fine and that's it. And it's kind of like, you're still going to do it afterwards. We're not going to change anything. There's clearly an issue with how some of these journalists are asking questions, what they're doing, how
because a lot of the stuff they ask is terrible. Like it's unrelated half the time. It's like, has your divorce affected the games you play? And you're like, why does that matter? Why is that something I want to talk about? And you can understand why she's against it. I think it's a load of bollocks.
And then what's annoying is that these are the same journalists who will spout shit and put stuff in their papers of leave politics out of sport when it comes to like kneeling in football, something like that. They'll be the same people going leave it out of sport, yet they'll bring all this ridiculous stuff that has nothing to do with the sport into it for their questions, just so they can get a headline.
The booing of the kneeling annoys me as well in football. Yeah. I just don't get. It's literally 5 seconds out of your time. And what are you booing? Are you booing? Are you booing anti-racism? Like what are you booing? It's nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. So if you're booing it because of that, you're an idiot.
Yeah, I'd like to see some more tennis players like follow suit, choice, and like make a stand for it. Yeah, and hopefully something will change. Probably won't because nothing ever seems to change with things like this. But it is sad to see that it is affecting someone like that.
Well, the way they should have handled it, and we're going to make the assumption that they didn't talk to her beforehand. The way they should have handled it was when she said, "I don't want to do the media interviews. I just want to focus on the tennis because of my mental health." They should have talked to her and at least said, "Okay, all right, blah blah blah. I'm sure we can work something out." But no, they slapped on a 15k fine and then told her that she could be banned from like every tournament, which is a joke. If they'd given her the fine and then were like, right, you had an obligation, so we're fining you, but we'll have discussions at another time about this in the future, then that's different. But no, they threatened her with bans from every tournament, which is ludicrous to me, and it's kind of disgraceful. I don't mind the fine, whatever. She had a contract, she went against it. Life, that's sometimes how life works, but they should have done way more, and it just shows their lack of care for the athletes within a lot of sports. It's why a lot of people try to get recognition in these sports, especially to do with stuff like mental health, racism. There's been a lot of advertisements, especially during the England games, for that Hope United which just features a lot of footballers against common causes, and you still get the people that'll boo them probably for no reason, just because they think they're edgy. But yeah.
Actually, we can. While you mentioned racism, it was a mixed emotional day yesterday for Ollie Robinson. England cricketer made his Test debut for England. Took the first wicket of the game. Taking a second on the day as well. Taking 2 more today. However, also yesterday, people had decided to go through some old tweets of his, which found out that they weren't the nicest things. I say that. It was 9 years ago, so 2012. These tweets came from of racist and sexist tweets. He was 18 at the time, and it's another one of those where obviously you don't agree with what's been put out, but at the end of the day, he was still a kid at the time.
I will say that he has definitely had time to learn from his mistakes here.
Yeah,
it's been a very long time. He could have easily changed, but he does, in a way, deserve to be criticised for it, which is totally fine.
Yes.
But whoever went back to look at those tweets is a sad fuck who needs to get alive, because holy shit. Why would you go back just because he debuted? It was his debut, right? Yeah. That's the only reason they went back. They went back to dig up some dirt on him. And I think that's, I'm not going to say equally despicable, but it's just a sign of the times and the culture we live in. And I'm not going to say, oh, cancel culture, blah, blah, blah. But it's kind of cancel. This is what cancel culture is. You know, they had no reason to go back and look at his old stuff to try and do this, but they did just to try and dig up dirt. Cancel culture is purposely trying to find dirt on someone. And while he did have dirt, and he's recognised that, apologised, and hopefully he's better for it. This is the sort of stuff I disagree with.
I think the main thing is that, but obviously, call people out for it.
Yeah.
Obviously, no issue with that at all. If you let someone have their say on it, or the person that did it, let them come out and admit that they were wrong. Hopefully, say that they've learned and that that's not who they are. Obviously, if they come out and go, I stand by it, I still think these things, then yeah, do whatever. Fair enough. But as long as they've come out and said that they've changed, and you can genuinely see they have, then I personally don't think any punishment should come to him, because it's not relevant now, as long as he apologises, he admits that he was wrong, and he shows that he's not that person anymore. Which I think looks like could be the case. Obviously, he wasn't immediately pulled out of the game. I'm not actually sure how that would work, if they could do that. Something I should really know, but I don't. Whether he'll then get selected for the next test, I don't know. He may have not been in the line or being considered for the lineup anyway, as other players would be coming back. So the ones who had to quarantine from being in the IPL, they would now be back in contention, so he may not have been selected anyway. But yeah, probably a mixed day of emotions for him yesterday, of having this great human, and then especially because the players aren't allowed their phones during games for betting reasons, that he would have spent all day out in the field probably feeling amazing himself that he's taken his 2 first international test wickets, and then gone and immediately been asked about this and going, oh shit, which isn't great. But
I don't feel bad for him for getting caught, but I feel bad that he could have changed, and it's been so many years that, like, a lot of us, we're quite young people. We've probably said things and still say things that would be controversial. We don't mean half the shit we say, but there's a lot of things that we may have had an opinion of like 10 years ago in our lives that have changed. Whether that's, I'm not saying we've had really racist opinions, that's not what I'm trying to get at, but people change.
Answering yourself now.
No. But anyway, we'll move on to more racism because I've got one more little bit of news, which
Ooh,
is a
lovely.
Manchester City fan
Philip said
was
lovely.
racism. Love it. Manchester City fan was banned for 3 years and received a £500 fine, which is very light in my opinion, for making monkey chants against a Manchester United player or a group of players. I believe it was against Fred, but I'm not sure, and I don't want to make an assumption against who. So it was just against some United players, and he has been banned from it. There's nothing more to it. Maybe a bit light for my opinion. If you want to kick racism out, you need to be.
You've got to
more
make a
severe.
statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, England squad. Well, we have the full 26, which I can read out if you want me to. I have it here.
I mean, I'll have it as well. So
okay. You can read it out. You can read it out.
Okay.
I'll let you go.
Goalkeepers: Dean Henderson, Sam Johnson, and Jordan Pickford. Defenders are Trent Alexander-Arnold, which will now put a star by his name, as we'll mention in a minute.
Which we'll get to. Yeah.
Ben Chilwell, Connor Cody, Reece James, Harry Maguire, Tyrone Mings, Luke Shaw, John Stones, Kieran Trippier, and Kyle Walker. Midfielders with Jude Bellingham, Jordan Henderson, Mason Mount, Calvin Phillips, and Declan Rice. With forwards being Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo. It is Bukayo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Saka, sorry.
Saka.
Jadon Sancho and Raheem Sterling. I don't think really any shocks here, if I'm honest.
A lot of people were shocked that there were 4 right backs in the squad.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Which there aren't anymore.
Yeah, there was 4 right backs, obviously. Trent, Reece James, Kieran Trippier, and Kyle Walker. Obviously, the assumption would be that Kyle Walker would now be used as another centre back, I would assume. Maybe playing in a back 3 if that's what Southgate goes for, which could be an option if Maguire
was possibly going to be pushed to midfield, but
I don't think he was. People said that he can play there.
But I'm saying, as I still think he would have made him play, but I don't think he would have dropped. Maybe he could have. I don't think he would have dropped Trippier for Trent, because that's just the type. He's one of Southgate's men, isn't he?
But see, the thing is that
it doesn't matter now.
I know it doesn't matter now. For me, Trent would have been right back, because you're not going to take someone like Sterling or Sancho, one of those out-and-out wingers, and take them out for Trent, and you're not going to take Declan Rice or Henderson out of that midfield and put him in instead. But yeah, as we said, England did play last night against, 2 nights ago, as you're watching this, against Austria. And it was late in the game. There wasn't long left.
88th minute, 80 something.
Yeah, Trent went to clear the ball, and you clearly saw him pull up afterwards.
Referee was fucking idiot for this.
Yeah, he then got booked for being on the pitch. He started he started walking off the pitch. The ref then said, because I don't think Trent realised that
walked off because he wanted the sub.
Yeah,
but we didn't have a sub, so he came back on, and the ref had a problem with it, which is stupid.
But the ref it looked like the ref had waved him back on, and then the ref gave him a yellow card. So what it was actually for, I don't know. But yeah, it looks, at the time, obviously it didn't look great, and then today it was confirmed that he's out of the squad. We don't have a replacement for him as of yet. I believe this weekend we find out. Is it?
On Sunday after the Romania game. Is it Romania they're playing?
Yes, Romania.
Yes, after the Romania game. I think he's just waiting to see how people perform and if we get any other injuries, because then he might have to make more changes.
Yeah, so the people that could come in are Lingard, Ward-Prowse, Ben White.
Yep. Godfrey won't be going in.
Ramsdale, who won't come in, so won't do another keeper. Yeah. And then Greenwood was the other one who was left out, but he's injured, so he won't be coming back in anyway.
Personally, Jesse Lingard. I personally think we need. I'm not saying we need.
The thing is, whoever's coming in isn't going to be starting or really expect them to play anyway. They are backup, so
Jesse Lingard.
I don't think it makes too much of a difference.
Yeah. Well, it's simply because
the only thing I'd like. So the only thing I'd like is that obviously Ward-Prowse is good for set pieces, but the problem is you can't bring him in the squad just for that, because obviously he needs to be on the pitch to be able to do that. There's no point bringing him in for backup because he's no use being sat on the bench if you then have a free kick and he's not on the pitch.
I'll be honest as well. I don't know if we need another defensive backup. To be fair, I thought Tyrone Mings had a real shitter, and I don't think he should be in the squad at all. Did you see his off the ball foul?
Yes. Yeah.
What a joke!
He's body checked
in the tournament.
For no reason.
That would have been a pen and a red card.
Yeah.
What a joke!
I don't know what he's doing.
I was kind of can't change that.
I was kind of hoping something came out today, that like something was said to him, and or something, but it didn't. It was really weird. It just seemed really unprovoked and for no reason. But yeah, something definitely got to look out for. The only thing I might say is that maybe he'll look to bring in another centre back. Just because obviously last time there were discussions that Harry Maguire might not be fit for the entire of the group stage.
Yeah.
Which then you might want to bring someone else in, because then if one of the other centre backs does get injured, you're then, so let's say it was Stones, for example, you are then left with Cody, Mings, and then Walker as your backup. So it may be worth bringing another centre back in.
I'm trying to think who played well in that game. I think Ben White played pretty well. I think he was okay when he came on. I'm not sure. If I don't know who I'd probably take Ben White or Jesse Lingard, just to give either the youngster a try or.
For me, I wouldn't bring Lingard in just because the amount of players in those positions we already have, who personally I deem better.
I think Southgate will bring him in though, just simply from his comments of Jesse just missed out. So now he's going to bring someone in. It's got to be Jesse.
Yeah.
And
so
that's what I think. Yeah.
If you want, do you want to go through who would start in the?
Which game? What are we doing?
The first game is Croatia. Who's your 11? Who are you putting out
there? Controversially, I don't know who I put a goalkeeper, because I don't like Pickford that much, but I don't think I want to see Dean Henderson play on Sunday before I say he deserves to be the starting keeper. I think Johnson deserves to be in, but at the moment I put Pickford, just simply because we haven't seen Henderson as the number, well, it's not the number one, but you know what I mean, as the keeper for England. Ooh la la. I mean, Harry Maguire, personally, if he's fit, Luke Shaw, our best player of the season, he's going to play free at the back, isn't he?
I think he might. Yeah. I haven't made my team around that because that's not what I would do.
Yeah.
What I think he will play is probably a bit different to what I would do. So
I think he'll go Trippier, Luke Shaw, and John Stones at the back. Something along those lines. If he swaps it out, he might do.
If he's doing 3, he wouldn't have Trippier and Shaw as 3. No,
I meant to say and Harry Maguire if he was doing a 4. Right. But sorry, but if he's doing a 3, he'd probably do Walker, Stones, and Maguire. I don't know. Who would you?
The problem is, personally for me, I've got Pickford in goal. Obviously, he has made those mistakes during the year, and he does. For Everton, he seems to be a bit of a liability sometimes, but he hasn't ever been for England. And also, he's got that experience over Henderson, which I think will help a lot. I think a lot of people, when they've been talking about the team or the squad that they've put out, a lot of people seem to overlook tournament experience, I think, in this.
Said Henderson, right?
I picked Pickford.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, continue. Go on.
Yeah.
I was about to say, what are you talking about? But yeah, you said.
I see there's a lot of people going, players should be picked on their form, which partly I agree with. But the issue I have is that if you put every single player in this team that has been in good form for the last year, you're going to pick an entire team that hasn't played together. Whereas I think, and a lot of players who have never played in an international competition for England, so they may have made an appearance in the Nations League, but it's not the same. Some of these players have been to the World Cup. They've had that big crowd. They've had that experience that is really vital. So personally, I put Pickford in goal, just for that bit of experience.
And I don't think he's terrible. It's just
Yeah, he's a good keeper. It's just there are obviously sometimes where you see that there's a joke of his little arms. He doesn't reach certain things. He has made mistakes where he's fumbled the ball, things like that,
yeah.
that do put you a bit on edge. But for me, think that experience comes in a lot. Personally, I'd play four at the back, Trippier right back, Stones. If Maguire's fit, I'd put Maguire next to him. Because he's not, I'm putting Mings there because I believe, I don't know if it's still he might not, or whether it's definitely he's not playing.
Yeah.
So, but if he's fit, he's going in. If he's not, I'll put Mings, and then Shaw left back. I completely agree with that.
I'm
He's
with
been
you.
great this year. I'd put him over Chilwell. Nothing wrong with Chilwell. It's just I think Shaw deserves that because of how well he's played. So yeah, that would be my back four, depending on Maguire's fitness.
I'm with you, except if Maguire isn't fit, I'd maybe try Carl Walker centre back.
Yeah, I did think of that because that might then help just with Stones as well, that they have that chemistry. They play together obviously every week,
Yeah.
which Stones and Mings don't have. So I think that would help a lot. But yeah, I just, although I know he can play there, I just never automatically think of Walker as centre back, especially in a pairing centre back.
Yeah.
Which I think is the issue. That's also why I haven't put Connor Cody in. I don't think he's as good in a pair. I think he needs to be in a three. So that could be what we see of a back three of maybe Cody, Stones, and Walker. That in my head, that's probably more likely what Southgate will do, but it's not what I would do. Then in midfield, Declan Rice has got to go in there. He's been unbelievable. He's got to be that centre defensive mid. Again, it comes down to fitness. If he's fit, I'm putting Henderson in. I know he hasn't. I'm putting both.
Oh, you're putting both. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know he hasn't played a lot recently, but again, it comes back to that experience. He's a top. I don't care what anyone says. He is a top quality player. The impact he has on a team is ridiculous, and I just think he offers so much. I think it would have been very useful if Trent was fit to have him down the right side and Henderson on the pitch. That would work really well. So if he's fit, I think Henderson should start.
See, this is the problem as well, because I completely agree with you.
As per usual.
Mount, Rice, Henderson, but
Yeah.
we're so limited on choice that those are the three best pairings.
Yeah.
I get a lot of people like Calvin Phillips. He's a good player. Jude Bellingham just won Young Player of the Year for the Bundesliga, did he not? But he's not got that tournament experience that Jordan Henderson has. Mount's
I think
another
especially for
level.
the first game as well.
Yeah.
Like I'm more than happy for Bellingham, say, to start against Scotland. If we beat Croatia, then I'm more than happy for someone like Bellingham to start in the Scotland game because it's not as difficult as a game, and we'll then give him good experience and depends how he plays then. But for this first game, I think you need to go reliable people who have the experience, who will get you the win, and that's why I'm putting Henderson in.
We need to win the Croatia game.
And Mount goes in because he's been great this season. I don't really think you can overlook him. You'd be stupid too. And then my three up front, obviously Kane's got to go in. There's no other option. Kane's got to go up top. And then I'm putting Sancho on one side of him because he's been in incredible form later on this season. I think a lot of people overlook him. The same with Trippier because they've not been playing in England, so not everyone would have seen him play. Obviously, I'm picking him over Sterling because I don't think Sterling's been that great this season. Again, Grealish is kind of one of those. He obviously been injured towards the end of the season, so although I thought he played well against Austria, I'm not going to start him. I'm not putting Sterling in because he was poor. I did think about putting him in again because of that experience and because he's like a historic solid player. But I just think Sancho's been better. And it's not like he doesn't have experience. He's played at the top with Dortmund at a high level, so he definitely deserves to go in there. And then I'm putting Foden as well on because I don't think you can leave him out. I think he's been incredible, and it'd be stupid to leave him out. He's been one of the best players this year. I'd obviously put him in over Saka and Rashford for me, because of how he's played this year, and I think he is kind of the future. So we need to start more building teams around him. And obviously Calvert-Lewin won't go in because I've got Kane and he's not going to play out wide.
See, forwards are like you have to have Harry Kane up there, 100%.
Yeah, I think Kane's a certain. I think who you have either side of him is very much up for debate. It's personal preference on whether you want.
I would also have Foden too, but I don't know who else I'd put up there. Like I don't know how well, because Foden and Grealish are both natural, midfielders more than. And will they work well with Kane going up front? We haven't really seen it. We haven't seen it, so I don't know. Foden, I think I'd definitely play Foden, but like you said with Grealish, too injury prone. Rashford, maybe, but the problem with Rashford is he's carrying like 2 injuries currently, and he has been all season. And
he's also just not been in a great run of form either.
I'd argue that his injuries have hampered that, but he's not been good for us either. So there's only so much you can do.
I'd like to see some rotation come in if we obviously, as I said, if we beat Croatia, I'd like to see some rotation come in for Scotland. One, to keep other players fresh, but also because I feel like we can maybe afford to rotate in that game, as long as we don't go absolutely stupid and end up getting thrashed in it. As long as we still get the win. But yeah, maybe seeing some rotation there to keep everybody fresh.
I think I would do Foden left wing.
They're not going to be wingers, are they?
No, but you know what I mean.
It's more going to be a 4-3-2-1, isn't it?
Yeah, but I definitely have Foden, and I think I'd obviously put Sterling up, pushing him forward a bit more with Kane, just because they have that connection from the previous tournament.
Yeah, I think what I would do is Sancho. I think what will probably happen is Sterling.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, I think Southgate will think along those lines of he wants to go more tried and tested in this first game. So I think Sterling will probably start, even though he's not had the greatest of seasons. And it's probably a safer option. But I think, personally, for me, that Sancho deserves that spot.
Yeah, I mean, if Sterling doesn't perform in the Croatia game, he'll just be subbed off. It's as simple as that. We'll know it didn't work.
This is just who starts on the pitch. Obviously, changes can be made during the game as and when needed, and the differences. But what I will say is that if Henderson isn't fit, then maybe I'd drop. Would I drop Foden into midfield? I don't know, because I'm not sure if I'd want
Foden and put Grealish up. Or make way for Sancho there.
Yeah, Sancho and Sterling.
Yeah.
And then drop Foden back. Although I don't know if then how well that would work with like 2 attacking midfielders in behind with Mount and Foden. They are more attacking players, and Rice by himself. Do I want the extra coverage with Phillips because Henderson will deliver that? I'm not sure.
I feel like I'm being very harsh on Grealish because he was I would argue England's best player against Austria. Not that that was hard, but he played very well. So I'm like, will that influence Southgate's decision, despite the fact there weren't many starters on that pitch anyway?
Yeah. I think it will obviously come down to a Romania game because that's when everyone else comes back in. So your Man United, your Chelsea, your Man City players will come in and we'll probably get some game time to see how they are.
We'll probably see mostly the starting lineup, other than maybe Maguire. And Rashford, I don't think will play on Sunday, but I think you'll see your Fodens and stuff.
I think for me, it'll be interesting to see if Henderson gets any game time. He didn't against Austria. That will probably set up if he starts against Croatia or not. If he gets game time, then I think it's more likely. If he doesn't, then
I think we might see both Hendersons on the pitch. I don't think Pickford will start this one. I think he'll want to start Henderson and see which keeper he wants to start for Croatia.
Yep.
Pickford didn't have a bad game, but like you still want to see. So yeah, that's been our England squad discussion. Next week we'll have a bit more to say about how the squad's panning out for the start of the tournament. We might have a bit more gaming news. E3 starts next week, but it starts after the podcast, I'm pretty sure. So we'll have to wait for the week after.
As per usual. Who
Yeah,
picked this bloody data?
but we'll have little bits and pieces. Maybe we'll have a what we're looking forward to for E3. You know, in terms of what companies we'd like to see from. But yeah, we'll see you next week.